Press pause, put the controller down. It's time to talk about the gaming industry. My name is TJ Leo. This is Bailstorm, and welcome to episode 5 of Press Pause, a gaming podcast. We missed you last week,
Yep.
but we had a special guest, Andrew, one of my oldest friends. I've known him since kindergarten, and we went very long. I don't know if you've checked out the episode, but holy crap. We went almost 4 hours. It was,
Wow.
yeah, it was. I needed to pee real bad by the end of that episode. Let me tell you, it was rough, but it was good. It was super packed, full of different stuff. Our topic of the week was Elden Ring. He had just finished the DLC.
That makes sense.
Yeah, how was your week? Or 2 weeks, I guess.
Yeah. It was a good 2 weeks. Yeah.
What you playing? Anything new?
Now I'm playing Exocolonist. Full title, I was a teenage exocolonist.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that before
Yeah,
when we
I
were
think I
talking.
mentioned it. Yeah.
So it's a big game, I'm assuming, because you've been playing that for a while, I think, right?
Yeah, off and on. It's story based. It's a little like what's the word? Like you're replaying the same story over and over, but it's like you add more context, learn more about how to save certain people, and it's a very you have to gather information from your previous lives in order to make things better in the next one.
Gotcha. That sounds cool. And it's Steam, I assume.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Indie developer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I have a lot to talk about in terms of what I've been playing.
Yeah.
Mostly because I forgot last week to talk about one. I played Concord. I got so for those that don't know, the Concord beta was originally supposed to be early access for Concord pre-orders last weekend, and then this weekend is the open beta. It's on right now, from what I understand. But they last minute opened it up to all PlayStation Plus members. So I hopped on there and had I don't know, 5 matches, give or take. And so first of all, the fact that they opened it up to all PS Plus subscribers is a horrible sign. That means, at least to me, that they did not get enough pre-orders to make a stress test, early access beta.
Their big announcement was not very impressive. I remember we weren't impressed. I don't think a lot of people were. They were very
No.
Yeah.
And I think they recognize that, and I think they recognize that the beta is make or break for this game.
Mm-hmm.
People need to get their hands on it and find out if it's worth their time.
Yeah.
And I'm not hearing much, which is weird. I'm not hearing like, man, this game sucks. I'm not hearing, man, this is the best thing since sliced bread. I'm just not hearing anything. But I did get to play it myself, and what I can basically tell you is that it is Overwatch without ultimate abilities. I'm not sure if you played Overwatch, but you basically don't have ults. You have a kit. So all the heroes have their specific weapons, their specific skills, cooldowns that you can use, but no ultimates. That's kind of the gist of it, right? And the presentation, I have to say, is phenomenal. From a quality standpoint, like, this has the Sony first-party PlayStation Studios shine all over it. The character models are gorgeously rendered, super detailed. The environments are pretty good too. Gameplay is very smooth, very buttery. But as far as like what sets this game apart from Overwatch or Paladins or anything like that, that's what I was looking for, and I didn't get it.
It's not good when the only thing you've mentioned that really sets it apart is no ultimates.
Yeah, exactly. So there's actually less.
Yeah.
Than Overwatch. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Overwatch is phenomenal. I think it's fine. But I'm also not the crowd. Like
Yeah.
I'm not the crowd that plays those kind of games.
One of my friends is really into Overwatch. I've played it a couple times, but
It's
it's not
fine.
really my thing. It's just, but I know he got really into like the stories and each character. So
Mm. And I think their idea for this game from the get-go was, hey, let's do Overwatch, but we're going to put even more effort into these characters and building the world and all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
And you can't do it that way. It doesn't work that way. You have to create a game where the gameplay is king, and then
yeah,
when people are like, "Oh man, this is really good," then
hmm
you can elaborate, on the
yeah.
characters and the story. But they did it backwards, and I think that was a mistake.
Especially when it's like an online multiplayer. Like people play those mostly for the
The
gameplay,
gameplay. Yep,
and then when they get
exactly,
into it, they get interested in the story.
100%. So, basically, my takeaway is that it's serviceable. There's nothing wrong with it. It just doesn't stand out in any way, besides the fact that it's the most polished,
Yeah,
and best looking hero shooter out there. That's about all I can say about it. Is that it's fine,
yeah,
and that's not what they needed. So
yeah.
unless that was the early access beta, and maybe that's why I'm not seeing a lot of buzz, is because people just didn't know. They just assumed that the early access was still for pre-orders only, and now they're going to get to play it. So maybe we'll see a much more broad opinion once this weekend is over. But I don't have a good feeling for this game, and I'm a little worried about that studio
Yeah,
because Sony does not typically keep studios open that have, you know, games that flop.
right.
I can see them pivoting a little bit here. I can see them pivoting from I think it's a $39.99 game. I think it's a $40 game to a free to play model.
Yeah,
That might save it, honestly, because there's
probably.
there's no way, there's no reason for anyone to spend $40 on this game when it's exactly the same as Overwatch, but you can go play Overwatch for free
Yeah,
or Paladins for free. Like I don't get the idea. I don't understand why it's a
they
forty
just
dollar
gotta
game.
add in those loot boxes and stuff, make money that way. Because yeah,
Yeah,
there's
I
too
don't.
many alternatives that are basically the same.
That's Dante in the background. He's being very annoying today. So he's being trained to be quiet, and he's not listening. Hey,
He's getting right in view of the camera too,
he wants
looking
to be involved.
directly at.
Let me tell you, the spray bottle nearly empty today. Yeah, maybe he likes water. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, that's my sort of
Responsible.
yeah. That's sort of my Concord impressions. Not good. Not good. Hey, now he's under my
Yeah,
feet. What do you want? Good lord. The joys of having a cat. What else have I been playing? So Game Pass had just a avalanche of new games onto it in the past 2 weeks. So I've been playing all of them, trying them out because I try all the Game Pass games. If you give it to me on Game Pass, I'm going to try it, even if it's
yeah,
for 5 minutes. So I've played Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. That's the God of War like kind of looking game where you play
yeah,
as
yeah,
a
yeah.
woman, melee, combat magic, all that kind of stuff.
How's the combat?
Yeah, it's okay. It's definitely not anywhere near the caliber of a God of War, and it's actually a little bit more Souls-like in its combat than in God of War.
Interesting.
Um, the
Okay.
visuals are definitely not up to par with God of War or the Souls games. The polish definitely isn't there. I think it could have used a little bit more time. And it has that like, when you play like a game that you clearly know is not AAA, and it kind of feels floaty when you play it,
Yeah,
like when you jump and you don't feel like you
like
have
you
weight.
just there's not real gravity there. It's just
Yeah,
like
you
yeah.
just kind of like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of the way it feels. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not polished.
Yeah.
I think it needs some work, but I'm gonna give. I haven't uninstalled it. It isn't that bad, but I'm gonna give it some more time. What else did I try? I tried Flock. This game kind of came out of nowhere. This is a weird game. You play as a person, like a just you basically flying on a bird around this world, cataloging creatures. That's kind of all it is. It's very like cozy, kind of a game. It's hard to explain, but I'm kind of fascinated with it. It's kind of calming and meditative,
Yeah.
and you fly around and you're just looking for creatures and need more time with it. But again, not something I uninstalled. What else did I play? Oh, I played. Oh, what is it? It's a Chinese name that I will never remember in 1,000 years. Oh, good lord. IGN reviewed it recently. Let me see if I can find the name of that game. It's a weird one. It's very, very,
Chinese.
very, very weird. Oh, okay. Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess is the name.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
get why
there's
you couldn't remember that.
yeah, exactly. It is a mix of like action, strategy, and like kind of tower defense almost in third person action. I'm not super far into it, but it's very artistic, very I don't know how to describe it. It's very weird.
Yeah.
But I want to give it more time because
Yeah.
it's normally these like Eastern games don't typically grab my attention because they all kind of feel the same. It's kind of like um, Black Wong. Was that a recent game? Black Wong, and then
Right.
there's like all those kind of like Souls like almost games. They all kind of like mix into one. This one actually kind of like stands out for me. So I'm gonna give it some more time. I also played, man, so many games. Dungeons of Hinterberg, which we've talked about on the show before. This is the cell shaded graphics game, third person, and it's a mix of like the social sim elements of like Stardew Valley
Hmm.
mixed with dungeon crawling.
Yeah.
Very cute, amazing visuals. That's probably going to be my hook, my game, my next playthrough.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed my first hour with it.
What are
Um,
the dungeons like? How expansive are those? Are they?
yeah, so they vary significantly from what I'm seeing so far, and they're broken up into sections. So like,
So it's not just
so
like
it's not
in
just a giant
Stardew where
dungeon.
you're like mining or like does it
No,
have
no.
slime?
So it's so how in like a social sim like Stardew Valley or like Persona, you have to decide how you spend your day.
Yeah.
So you spend like your morning going to school, you spend your afternoon, studying or going to a cafe, and then at night you go to the dungeon. That's kind of the way the
Okay.
game works. You kind of you decide how you want to spend your time, and then the dungeons are broken up into several sections, and they all kind of require you to be a certain level. And there's like a level up system and some gear, I think, as well. I'm not too deep into it yet, but it's very fascinating. Kind of a cute story. No voice acting, so it's a lot of reading.
Hmm.
But I'm intrigued, so I'm gonna continue to play that. I'm missing one game, but I can't remember what it is, and I'm not going to go looking for it. Um, the final game that I tried as well was Once Human, and this is the free to play third person building, crafting, kind of like Remnant type of game. Um, I played it on PC. It didn't run very well because my PC is not a gaming rig for today's games, so it was on very low settings, and the frame rate was about 25 frames.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a great experience, but what I can tell you is that I definitely want to play it.
Yeah.
That game's going to hook me. But I'm going to wait for a console release, which They haven't confirmed, but they've already confirmed it's coming to mobile.
Not
Which,
ready to be a gaming person yet and get an upgrade.
yeah, I used to be a huge PC gamer, but it's so expensive. I just when I can
Yeah,
get a console for $500 every generation instead of having to spend
yeah,
1,500 to 3,000 on a gaming rig every 10 years. It's like meh.
makes sense.
Um, but yeah, Once Human's really cool. I enjoy it. So I'm hoping that that comes to console sooner than later because it's very very nice from all aspects. I can't believe it's free to play. It's really good. I think that's about it. I know I'm missing one game, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'll bring it up next week. Um. So let's get into the news. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of news to get through this week. The first of which is so last week you weren't here, but Nintendo posted this really weird teaser called "Who is Emio?" and it was just a creepy dude standing in a hallway with a bag on his head with a face drawn on it, and that was all they posted. And everyone was like, "What the heck is this? Nintendo doesn't do horror stuff. What is this?" So it got everyone talking, and they have now revealed what it is, and it is not what we expected. um, Definitely some disappointed fans out there who thought this was going to be a big deal, but it is Famicom Detective Club. Emio the Smiling Fan. Famicom Detective Club. I think Famicom Detective Club is like an older series or like a Japan DS series, I think. From what I can tell, it's very similar to like the Ace Attorney games, if you've played those.
Oh, okay.
It's all about like murder mysteries and solving crimes and yeah,
Kind of point and click, kind of.
kind of yeah, yeah. Um, I'm a huge fan of the Ace Attorney series. I played the first three. I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan, I guess, but I played the first three and I loved them. They were
Yeah,
fantastic. Some of the other ones started to get a little bit too much into like the magical, spiritual realm, where the first games were really like kind of grounded in reality a little bit more. They were still like anime
yeah,
craziness, but they weren't. They were all kind of grounded in reality. Once you start doing stuff like like using spiritual psychics to try and figure out the
right.
crime and like that kind of stuff, I'm like,
The supernatural. Yeah,
that takes me out of it because I'm like, no, I don't feel like a detective anymore. I
right.
don't feel like a lawyer anymore. I don't feel like how do you put that together in your mind when you're trying to solve things? It's like now I got to think of stuff that doesn't have anything to do with reality. It's like
Right.
so I kind of fell out of that series, but maybe this will be more up my alley. Maybe this will be more
Maybe.
more my style. Did you play Ace Attorney or I think there was like a side series?
Not
Hall of
really.
Justice.
It's one of those games where I like the concept and stuff. It's just some of the dialogue in the Ace Attorney games I feel like drag too much and it
Oh
just
yeah,
doesn't hold my attention. So I like the series. I watch other people play it, but I can't really sit through it very well. It's the same
don't
way I
blame you.
feel about like Danganronpa. I know a lot of people really into that.
Love Danganronpa. I was going
Right.
to suggest that to you if you haven't played it, but
Like it's a good game. I like it, but
mhm,
it's just like the dialogue sometimes just drags me
I
and
agree. It's very anime. It's very exposition heavy. I agree. I really hope that some American company will look at Danganronpa, look at Ace Attorney, and go, "Let's make a Western version of this."
yeah,
Because those games are great. They're just not everyone's cup of tea because of what you said. The dialogue is just holy crap. Get to the point.
I think it's mostly because of my ADHD. I just lose focus.
Hey, even me.
And then I have to reread the dialogue again that's already been dragging. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn it.
There was another series that's very similar to Danganronpa. Zero. I think it's called. The naming of the
Yes,
three games is
yeah,
very like
yeah.
it's
I know
not
what you're
good.
talking about. It's
The first one was like
I think the first
999
yeah
rooms,
999
999, yeah, something like that.
is what people
Um,
called it for short because it was like 9 doors,
people, nine
people.
rings, something like
Yeah,
that.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't play that one, but I played the sequel, which was like 0 hour or zero something.
something like that. Yeah,
And that one was fantastic because
yeah. I
I didn't
like
know anything about it.
the funny thing is I liked 999 a lot more than Danganronpa. I was actually able to sit through and play through it.
It does have a little bit more straight to the point dialogue, I will
Yeah,
agree. Yeah, yeah.
that one was great.
There was
But
a
yeah,
third game too, if I remember correctly. I don't think I ever played it though, which
yeah,
is
I'm
weird
not
because
sure.
they all kind of run into each other. Like they're all
They
linked. So if
do.
you don't
Yeah,
play all three, you don't get the real ending.
yeah, right.
But yeah, those are cool games. Next up in the news is the FTC is pointing a finger at Xbox after the recent Xbox tier Game Pass changes, calling it product degradation. So you weren't here last week, but we talked a little bit about how Xbox changed its Game Pass tiers. So now they have Xbox Game Core, which is their sort of Xbox Live Gold replacement. You get your online play, and you get a select group of games included with that. And then you have Xbox Game Pass Console, which is most of the Game Pass library, but it doesn't include online play, and it doesn't include day one releases. And it also doesn't include all the other extras you get with the high tier of Game Pass Ultimate, which gets you day one. Game Pass gets you the whole library, gets you cloud gaming, gets you perks and discounts and all that kind of stuff. Um, and then they still have the PC Game Pass, which does have day one releases, strangely, um, and is cheaper than the console version. So all the prices went up though, and so yeah, the FTC, which is for those who don't know, the Federal Trade Commission, filed I don't know, an appeal, I guess, taking aim at Xbox for that. They say that it's inconsistent with its case that it made during last year's Xbox trial, which was all about the Activision Blizzard takeover acquisition. And breaking down the new revised service, the FTC filing describes the new standard tier as a degraded product that withholds day one releases while still representing an increase in cost over the original console Game Pass tier. So yeah, they've basically risen the price, but taken away day one Game Pass or day one releases. So they seem to be a little. I don't know how far this is going to go with the FTC, but it can't be a good thing that you're in trouble with the government.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, we all knew this was coming. I think it was inevitable that the prices were going to go up. Every subscription service has been going up steadily over the last like 5 years, and that's not going to change. Um, I still think that Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is the best deal in gaming right now, even though it's gone up $3 a month to so it's $19.99 US per month.
yeah.
But
It's not
that's
too.
not bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you think about the amount of money you would pay for multiple games a year, multiple full price games a year that you want on day one, right? What's a full price game in the States on Xbox right now? 70 or 60?
at least 60
60,
usually.
right? Yeah. So
Like
like
when it initially comes out, it's at least 60.
yeah.
Sometimes it's up to like 80, 90.
So if you buy two games, you're at $120 right there. And whereas if you pay for Game Pass, you're paying $20 a month and you're getting access to every day one first party release, in addition to tons of indies and other deals. So it's still a great deal. It's fantastic. I didn't cancel my subscription. I think it's a great deal, and
Yeah,
I don't know. I get why people are upset. Um,
yeah,
especially if you were somebody on the mid tier, and now you don't have day one releases.
hmm,
Well, now your price is going to jump up pretty substantially because if you want those day one releases, then you have to get Ultimate.
yeah.
Um, which also comes with the online play. And if you don't want online play and you just want Game Pass, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, that does suck. So if someone canceled because of that, I get that
Totally.
because that's shitty. Not everyone wants to do the live play.
Yeah.
The live play is for like the multiplayer games, and they don't want that. They just want like day one new releases.
I don't understand why they took day one releases out of that standard tier.
Yeah,
It already doesn't have the online, so why did you take it away? It's very strange.
like
Um,
that needs to stay at a lower tier because the people who want live are the ones willing to pay more.
yeah, for sure. And to be fair, I don't really play online. But
Hmm.
I just like the day one releases and some of the cloud gaming and some of the other like perks that you get through Game Pass Ultimate. Plus, I
Yeah,
get the PC Game Pass with Game Pass Ultimate, so I can play a bunch of indie games that come to PC because the PC Game Pass catalog is different from the Xbox Game Pass. They have a lot of the same games, but there's definitely some exclusives that are on the PC side that uh, didn't come to Xbox. So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see where this goes, but not a good look for Xbox again.
again.
Again, they're not. They're not. Every time they make a step forward, they take two steps back. It's very frustrating. The
Yeah.
next piece of news is the Halo TV series has been canceled on Paramount Plus after 2 seasons. Um, we got a quote from Paramount Plus saying, "We are extremely proud of this ambitious series and would like to thank our partners at Xbox 343 Industries and Amblin Television, along with showrunner and executive producer David, is it Weiner or Weiner? I'm not entirely sure. Could be either. His fellow executive producers, the entire cast led by Pablo Schreiber, I'm going to say, as Master Chief and the amazing crew for all their outstanding work. We wish everyone the best going forward. We deeply appreciate the millions of fans who propelled the Halo series to a global success, and we remain committed to broadening the Halo universe in different ways in the future, said 343 Industries. They're the developer of Halo. We are grateful to Amblin and Paramount for the partnership in bringing our expansive sci fi universe to viewers around the world.
Was it a success?
I don't think so. No, I don't believe so. Um,
The fans didn't like it, or was it not enough people outside the fans
both,
watching?
honestly. I watched the first episode and then the second episode, and I was like, nope, this isn't it.
Was it like
There's
too much like the game?
no, it's very different from the game, but first of all, they have Master Chief take off his helmet, something he never does in the game. So that humanized him too far, I think, for me. He should have
Probably
been
too
more.
soon to humanize him too. You at least wait for
Yes,
like the finale.
agreed. Like,
Because I get
when,
in a TV series, you probably want to humanize your protagonist at some point,
hmm,
but
not in the season one.
for him, like it's just the whole point of him. Like I don't know, you want to hold on to that until at least the finale.
I agree,
Make it a big thing.
and it's the Mandalorian does it really well. I'm not sure if you watch the Mandalorian, but he very rarely takes his helmet off, and when he does, it's it's for a very specific reason, and it's based around the story too, but why he doesn't take his helmet off. But um, the Mandalorian does it 10 times better than Halo. Also, I think it was season 2. I could be wrong. It was either halfway through season 1 or season 2. But there's a sex scene between Master Chief and someone, and
Just someone.
I don't know. I didn't watch the show, but it's someone,
Um,
and it's like you're doing a romance slash love story slash whatever that it was in Halo. Like, I'm sorry.
Master Chief, I feel like he should not have time for romance.
In the entire
He's so.
Halo game ethos, he's all about like send me in.
Mm,
It's time to kick ass and chew bubblegum. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
he's not this deep emotional character. So and the fact that they tried to do that at least this early, I think was like I agree. Down the road,
Hmm.
when you want to make him more interesting, do that
Yeah.
down the road. But to do that in the first 2 seasons, I think it was a
Yeah.
big mistake.
You want him to be a hard ass soldier.
Yeah, that's who he is in the game. So
Yeah.
why would you make him something deeper than that in the you know?
At least at first, and then slowly crack open the shell if that's what you want to do for the series.
Yeah, and in the games there are some emotional moments for him, but that's not what Halo players play those games for. At least I don't think they do. I didn't.
Hmm.
I played it for the action. I played it for the badassery. I played it for the epic moments. Um, and I think the visuals of the Covenant and some of like the battle scenes was criticized quite a bit. Again, I only saw the first episode or two. It was okay. It was definitely not state of the art visuals or anything like that, but it was decent. But yeah, I'm not surprised. Apparently, Amblin, Xbox, and 343 Industries will attempt to shop the series around somewhere else. So
That's just. I feel like that's kind of just embarrassing for them, just because of how well Fallout did in comparison.
exactly, yeah. I mean, Halo did come first, so Fallout had the
Yeah.
ability to learn from Halo's mistakes,
Yeah.
but not good. It really sucks too that we waited. I don't know when did Halo 1 come out. We waited like 20 years to get a Halo movie or a Halo TV series, and then we get one, and it's like this. It's like
Yeah.
it's frustrating for sure.
Hmm.
Could do better, man. We can do better.
Definitely.
All right. Next piece of news. This one's kind of 2 in 1. Baldur's Gate 3 is getting patch 7 in September. And a few little tidbits here. Larian says that you may have the ability to hire or control a certain bard in your party that was in the game, which is pretty cool. I think Alfira is her name, right?
Alfira, yeah.
Alfira. So that's pretty cool.
Prettiest bard.
Prettiest part. Yeah, she's the one with like she's the tiefling with like the blue hair or purple hair or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. They've also teased that it's not the game's final update. Where originally they had said that patch 7 was like that was it. After that it was basically just going to be bug fixes and
Yeah. They're saying they want to pull away, but maybe
they don't want to.
I don't think they really do want to.
No.
Baldur's Gate 3 is their baby permanently.
I think it's a perfectionist problem where they're like, man, there's so many more things that we could do.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but patch 7 is due out in September, and it's supposed to include split screen updates, new cinematics for the evil endings, bug fixes, and finally official modding tools, so that you can apply mods to the game without having to go to crazy lengths to do so. So it's frustrating for me that they tease that it might not be the final update because I've been holding off on my second playthrough for the game because when it came out on console, I played it, beat it, played a little bit in a second playthrough, but I didn't beat the game. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna wait until they finish the other 800 patches that they're gonna do on this game. Then I'll come back. I'll play like the finished product, and
It's never gonna be a
It's
finished thing.
yeah, that's what I'm
They're
starting
always
to
gonna
feel.
add shit. Yeah,
That's what I'm starting. By
it's
the
always
time they finish this game, their next game is going to be out. So we'll see how that goes. Great game though for anyone who hasn't played Baldur's Gate 3.
there's so much in that game.
So good.
I've spent like 50 hours just on Act One.
Oh
Like
yeah. Oh
it's
yeah. 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 I've heard stories of things that I'm like, wait, where was that? And I'm like,
mm,
there's so much stuff I'm sure I missed.
oh
Um,
yeah,
what a great game.
yep.
And for those of you who didn't play Larian's previous outings, definitely check out Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. Amazing games. They will feel a little not outdated, but they're definitely going to feel not as quadruple A as Baldur's Gate 3 is. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 had the full might of Wizards of the Coast behind it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not as, I don't want to say not as polished because it is polished. What? Hey, jeez, man. He's got attitude today.
I feel like with
Um,
the divinities, though, you can really see how they pulled that into their work on
oh,
Baldur's Gate
100%.
3. Like that,
100%.
their team has a lot of passion for this kind of story, these characters.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's pretty much exactly the same gameplay, except not D&D based. So it's not 5e, but it's its own system.
Yeah,
So keep that in mind. But it's fantastic. I love Divinity Original Sin 2 is like in my top 10 games of all time.
yeah. I
So
know you spent a lot of hours on it.
love that game. Yeah, I'm probably 300 plus in that game.
Yeah.
It's so good. So good. Next up in the news, the casting of Frank Stone finally has a release date. This is Supermassive's next game. Supermassive, of course, is the one behind Until Dawn and The Quarry, and what else do they do? I think they did the Dark Anthology Pictures or the Dark Pictures Anthology series of horror games. Those ones didn't do very well, but Until Dawn and The Quarry were fantastic.
Oh yeah.
The casting of Frank Stone is sort of it's along those same lines, same kind of gameplay, but it is set in the Dead by Daylight universe. The multiplayer 4v1, survivors versus murderer type game. And that release date is September 3rd this year. So only about a month and a week away. We're not far off of that. So that'll be pretty cool. Hopefully that game does really well. Because I do love their horror stuff. It's pretty
So
fun.
is that one gonna be multiplayer
Nope,
then?
this is along the same lines as The Quarry and
So
Until
it's try
Dawn.
to get as many people as you can to survive, sort of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Very cool. Very cool game. Or gameplay style, I should say. No
yeah.
one
Yeah,
really does it other than them.
yeah, that's true. I don't
It's kind of their thing.
Yeah.
Next up is our last one, and that is I mentioned Once Human, the free to play multiplayer open world survival game that came out recently. I think it launched just like 10 days ago. It's not been out long. They're not messing about. It just named and shamed cheaters and players who exploited a bug, which I find hilarious. So the full article reads like this: Once Human is a free-to-play multiplayer open-world survival game from Starry Studio, a developer owned by NetEase. It launched on PC on July 9th and quickly found an audience with a huge peak of concurrent player count on Steam of 231,668 players at the same time. That's crazy for a free-to-play launch on PC. It's proven so popular, in fact, that the service have struggled to cope. But it's already marred by cheaters and some players who have exploited a bug to gain advantage, even after Starry Studio issued a warning to its community not to take advantage of the bug until they can patch it. This bug lets players access and occupy engagement zones in restricted areas, and it has been since fixed. However, people gained a lot of XP and loot and all that kind of good stuff from those restricted areas. And rather than simply announce a ban wave, Star Studios decided to list every account that was banned, publishing their nickname, the server they played on, the duration of their ban, and the reason for their ban. Players who exploited the bug were hit with bans of up to 30 days, had their items confiscated, uh, and the accounts that are found to be cheating, so they were using third-party cheater software, were effectively wiped from the game with a ban duration of 3,600 days. That is the equivalent of 9 years, 10 months, and 2 weeks, and a day, which is hilarious. So it's basically you're banned for life.
Wow. Yeah.
And not only that, but you're up on the wall of shame on their website, which is hilarious.
They said we ain't just smacking you on the wrist.
No, just
Don't
just
fuck
a
with our
backhand.
game.
Yeah. So and at the very end of their post, it says, "We appreciate every meta's efforts to maintain a fair gaming environment." just a good old backhand, insult to injury. I love it.
It's kind
Um,
of amazing. I love that.
I'm very happy that they did that, and I hope that they continue to do that. Um, I I don't understand the mentality of people who cheat in these types of games because the whole point of the fun is to grind and to gain experience and to experience the world. If you're going to cheat, I don't understand. I don't understand what's the enjoyment of that. Yeah, I have everything. Now what do I do?
They like to feel superior to other players, I think.
Yeah, they're
That's what
likely
it
the ones
normally
that
is, I think.
yeah, yeah, they're likely the ones that go around like
Hmm.
just one-shotting everybody, just to grief them. So we
Mm.
will not miss you, people who got banned for
Yeah,
2,600 days. We will not miss you.
yeah, right.
Hope you learned your lesson. Yeah, I thought that was a great story. Um, Players have reacted to the ban positively and praised Starry Studio for its communication with the
Yo,
community. Um, Fantastic.
we appreciate openness.
Yes, absolutely. Punish cheaters. We hate them. I remember back in the day, man, cheating was such a thing online because it was so easy to cheat because there was no like anti-cheat systems or anything like that. People just did it.
Yeah.
Um, I used to play a game. I don't know if you remember this. This might be dating me as well, but Soldier of Fortune. Soldier of Fortune.
No.
Yeah, it was a first-person shooter with like really gory graphics, but the online multiplayer was amazing. I played that
Yeah.
to death when I was in high school. It was one of those times where I played a game and it was pretty much that game only. I played exclusively for like 2 years, and I got so
Oh,
good that people would like accuse me of aimbotting. I don't know if you remember aimbots back in the day.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
I
they'd
just
be
didn't
like,
play a
"You're
lot of
cheating."
shooters, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not cheating. I just play a lot.
You got an aimbot.
Yeah. Whenever I would always go to the same servers too. So I would enter and people would be like, "Ah, crap. Well, we're about to get wrecked." Like, yeah, you are. It was
Yeah.
fun. It was good times.
Mm.
Oh man. So that's it for the news. We did have one trailer that came out that I thought was noteworthy, and that is Orcs Must Die Death Trap. Was announced for PC and Xbox. Orcs Must Die has had 4 games already, I think. Orcs Must Die 1, 2, 3, and there was like an attempt at I think it was like a weird
Was it a
iteration of it. It was like
global
a
thing, or I don't know. I see Orcs Must Die a lot. I don't know how many there are, but I see it, and it's one of those games I look at it, I'm like, looks okay.
yeah, it's
And then I
definitely.
don't play it.
I would highly recommend playing it if you like tower defense games. That's all I can really say. It's a third-person tower defense shooter with
Mhm.
magic and traps and comedy. It's very entertaining. My buddy and I play it in co-op. It's co-op split screen on the consoles, um, with 2 players.
Nice.
And I think the new one that's coming out is up to 4 players, and it's going to have some roguelite elements to it as well, which is really cool. So I'll be playing that for sure. Um,
Yeah.
Absolutely love the Orcs Must Die series.
I actually didn't know there was a split screen co-op version. Maybe I should try that with my brother.
Highly,
I
highly
like I,
recommend it
I
for
like
sure.
playing split screens for sure.
Yeah. What consoles do you have?
I have a PlayStation 4, not the 5 yet.
It's definitely available. There's an Orcs Must Die on PlayStation 4 for sure. 100%. And it's not a full price game either, so it's pretty cheap, which is great as
Nice.
well. So yeah, highly recommend that. Highly recommend that. So that is it for the news and the trailers. So let's get into our topic of the week, which is our gaming backlogs. We've mentioned this a few times on the show. That our backlogs are getting a little heavy, shall
Yeah.
we say? And so we'd like to kind of go through them and just kind of share what we have still in the backlog. We're not going to go through every game we have. We're going to pick 20 each and see if each other knows what that game is, and maybe we'll learn about more games that will be added to our backlog.
Yeah, right.
Why don't you go first? What's your first game?
All right. Let's see. What should I?
What should you pick?
This one is kind of an older game. There's some newer ones still being released, but it's
Yeah.
something my older sibling actually recommended for me to play. It's Ys. It's YS.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm aware of that. Yeah.
they're
RPG.
classic RPGs, and I love RPGs, and the style seems really good. The first one is very hard, though, he said.
Yeah, they're hardcore
Because
for sure.
the hitbox is just, it's very difficult to get used to the gameplay.
Absolutely.
It's not a turn based, it's.
It's kind of like Tales
Yeah.
it's sort of an action.
Mhm.
Uh, but do you remember Eternal Sonata? Did you ever play that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's kind of that kind of a
Yeah.
combat system. Yeah, I never played any of the Ys games. It's hard to
Mhm.
say.
It is.
But
I
yeah,
always think I'm saying it wrong, but it's
yeah, me
two
too.
letters. I'm like,
Ys,
it's gotta be East, right? I don't
Ys. So I was saying it Ys. So maybe it's
East?
Ys.
East? I don't
Ys.
know.
I don't know. Who knows? There's no way to know. Yeah, yeah. My JRPG days are definitely behind me. But it's definitely something I would have played back in the day.
Yeah. So I
Uh,
have it, and I'm want to
oh,
play it eventually.
which one did you pick up? Because I know
I got.
there's a few.
I just got 1 and 2 Chronicles. I just want to start and see the classic. You know. Mm,
I think there's a new one coming out as well, if I remember
yeah, I think
correctly.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see my backlog. I'm gonna go with one of the newest games
Hmm.
on mine, which is Hellblade 2, Senua's Sacrifice. I played the original Hellblade, Senua's Saga, and I loved it. It's a game, for those that don't know, it's a third person psychological thriller, I want to say, is the best way to put it. It's about I want to say Norse, but maybe not. It's definitely Norse-ish character who is traveling to. Basically, she's trying to get to hell to save someone who she knows who was killed. Um, and from what I recall, that person's head is in a bag on your hip, and I guess she has to like bring it there in order to restore his soul or something like that. But the catch and the sort of you know unique thing about the game is that she suffers from psychosis. So the entire time you're playing, she's hearing voices in her head constantly. And the best way to play the game is with surround sound headphones because you can hear the voices all around you when they're talking.
That's
It,
intense.
it's a tense, surreal experience, amazing acting, and I really want to get to the second one. I haven't really heard a whole lot about it besides it's visually amazing. I've heard the gameplay is Probably about the same as the first game, which is a little unfortunate that they didn't expand. Um, but I want to get to it because that first game was so memorable. Highly
Yeah.
recommend it, but you got to be in a good state of mind
Oh
to play
yeah,
the game. It's
definitely.
pretty dark game,
Yeah.
but I can't wait to get to it.
Yeah.
That's my first. That's your first. What's your number
Yep.
two?
Number two might piss people off.
Oh,
This is a big game. People love it. I've been pressured to play it since high school, and just I haven't.
oh man.
This is Mass Effect. It's still
Oh,
backlog.
oh. You and I think Andrew didn't play it as well. I think we had talked about that. I could be wrong, but
Yeah,
yeah,
looks
man,
like a great game. It's a great story. I just, for whatever reason, I
haven't
never
got to it.
really start it. I'm just,
Well,
it's there, and I'm waiting for the right.
the remaster slash remake of them, the Legendary Edition, it's out.
Mm,
I cannot recommend it
yeah.
more. It is one of the best games of all time, best
I
series of all
can't
time.
promise I'll get to it soon because I've been told to play it since high school.
Yeah, I yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
you will not regret it. I will put it to you that way. You definitely need to play that game,
Yeah,
or all three games, I guess technically.
yeah,
Um, Mass Effect 2 is in my top 10 games of all time.
yeah.
So I will give you a caveat that Mass Effect 1 is a little harder to get through than 2 and 3. 2 and 3 are very similar in the way that they play. 1 is a little bit, it feels older. They really like put money into the second and third one. But the first one's still amazing and has an amazing story, an amazing ending, great characters. It
Hmm.
sets up the second one, so you have to play it.
Right.
But man, that series, no
Yeah.
game has come close.
Yeah.
In fact, if you really think about it, no game has even attempted to do a trilogy that all connect together since Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Every decision you make in Mass Effect 1 affects Mass Effect 2 and 3. Every decision you make in Mass Effect 2 affects 3. Every decision you make at 3 affects 3. Like, it's so deep. It's so good. Man, yeah, people
Yeah.
won't be pissed. People will be urging you to play it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it'll be. They'll be like, "What? You haven't played one of the best games of all time? Play it!"
Yeah.
All right, that's your number two. I'm gonna go for my number two. Um, I'm gonna go with a sequel to one of my favorite games uh, in recent memory. I want to say, and that's Talos Principle 2. Um, for those of you who haven't played Talos Principle, it is a first-person Portal-like. So if you played Portal, you know what
Hmm.
you're going to get in this game. It's all about puzzles in first person. Um, but it's not just that. Talos Principle 1 was really kind of really cool story. The basic idea of it is you are a robot that wakes up and God talks to you, and you are basically he's basically encouraging you to do these tests, and you find these computers around the testing areas and talk to somebody who is basically encouraging you to leave, while also having um, what's the word, what's the way you would describe, like, you're looking at your own life, or like the definition of life, um, what's the
Out of
word for it?
body experience.
No, like a discussion. Like if you're discussing. Oh, there's a word for it. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I don't know what it is. You basically trying to figure out the meaning of life.
Yeah, it's
Um,
philosophical.
yeah, very philosophical.
Yeah.
It's very mind bendy, and it asks you questions that you have to answer yourself, and like,
Oh.
and it kind of like makes you think about life in different ways,
Hmm.
and makes you think
Plays
about
with your perspective.
plays with perspective, exactly, and it makes you think about, like, what is life, what is a soul, this robot, are you a real person? Um, Talos Principle 2, bigger budget, takes this whole experience and just blows it up. Far more cinematic. I can't wait to play it. I played the demo, and I was just like, oh man, I'm in
Yeah,
for a
that
ride.
looks really
Can't
cool.
wait. It's so good. So that's my number 2. Number 3.
Number 3. My number 3 is a somewhat newer one. I'm kind of ashamed it's still on my backlog. I want to get to it very soon, actually. It's God of War Ragnarok.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I have it. I just haven't had the time to get to actually play it. I have seen some of it because I can't help but look at Let's Plays that are out, so I've seen a little bit, but it's just I love the fighting in those in the
The
first
first
God of
game's
War.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get to it very soon, I think. But
I
yeah,
have played it. I will wait to give you my thoughts on it after you beat it. You can tell me once you've played it and beat it, and we'll talk about it then. Because I don't want to skew
right.
your view of the game before you play it. But yeah, worth playing for sure. Absolutely, that first game's so good.
Yeah.
My number 3. My number 3 is Somerville. This is a Limbo-like. So if you've played Limbo or if you've played Inside, this is kind of like that. It's about. I don't think it has any dialogue, just like those games don't have any dialogue, and it's all about you're this dude, part of a family in the countryside, and an alien invasion happens on the planet, and it's all about what the heck you do to survive. I played the opening like 10 minutes, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like this, and then I
Yeah.
just never went back to it for whatever reason. Um, I think it was just at a time where 60 other games were out, and you
Yeah.
have to make a decision on what you're going to play, and that wasn't at the top of the list.
Yeah.
But it's still on my list. It's in Game Pass, so I can play it anytime.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to get to that.
Yeah. That
What's your
sounds like a
number
good one.
4?
4. Tales of Arise. That one's new as
Oh
well.
yeah.
And I do really love the Tales games. It's actually one of my friends from high school that got me into the Tales of games with Tales of Symphonia.
Mm-hmm.
And like I played through Berseria, and then
Are they linked, or are they like kind of like Final Fantasy, where they're completely separate?
they're all kind of separate. There's some of them, like Symphonia does have a direct sequel that's kind of the same world, but that one wasn't as good according to people. I think it was still pretty good, but it was kind of like unnecessary.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Tales of games, it's like you're playing an anime.
Oh yeah.
I guess
sure.
that's why people play Genshin Impact too. It's like,
yeah, definitely.
the story, the characters they're very good.
Yeah.
And I want to get to Arise soon.
I've definitely heard it's a 10 out of 10 JRPG. I tried to play it, but so I used to be a huge JRPG fan. Final Fantasy X is one of my favorite games of all time. My top 3 games of all time.
I love Titus. Titus is my favorite. I wanted to be Titus when I was little.
Yeah, Titus.
And then I played Final Fantasy IX, and I was like, no, I want to be this guy. This guy became my favorite protagonist character, at least.
Yeah, the Final Fantasy games are hard to beat. Yeah, I love Final Fantasy. We could have an entire episode on Final Fantasy X. Honestly, it's so good. But yeah, my JRPGs days are behind me. I used to love them. I played so many of them, and then I don't know what happened, and I can't really explain to you why it happened. But all of a sudden, what we had talked about, two things started to annoy me about them. Number one, exposition. Oh my god, just get to the point. There's so much dialogue in these games sometimes where I'm just like, just shut up. I just want to play.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that annoys me about them now it doesn't happen in every JRPG, but it does happen in Tales. And I played Tales of Arise's demo, and I was like, "Oh, this could be good. This could be good. This," and then I got to the combat,
Hmm.
and it's one of those games where every time you do a special move, he says
Hmm.
the name of the special move.
Yes, yeah.
Rising Blade,
Tails
Exo
is famous
Slash,
for that. I played the older Tails games that was for like the Game Boy. It's the same thing. They always announce it in a
Shoryuken. Yeah, I just that drives me
that
up
that's
the
how you
wall.
that's how the power goes up though. If you say the name, you hit harder.
That's how it goes over
And if you
9,000.
say it IRL with the character, it
Oh,
does more
okay, that's what you gotta
damage
do.
too. You gotta get into it.
If I'll put it to you this way: if it was like a special move that
Mhm.
happened once per battle, I
Yeah.
might not mind.
No, it's
But
every time you
when you're spamming Rising Blade, Rising Blade, Rising
Rise,
Blade, Rising,
Rising
just
Blade.
I was like, well, I can either mute the audio or I can just not.
There should be a toggle just to
There
turn off the
definitely should be
combat
a toggle.
voices. Just combat voices, like
150%. The first thing I do when I hear that is I go into the options and I look at the
mhm.
audio options and I'm like, is it in there? Nope. Not playing it. I can't deal
Yeah.
with it. If I can't deal with it for 10 minutes, I'm not going to be able to deal with it for a 100-hour JRPG. I'm just
I
not going
mean
to be able to.
that's fair. I know that gets on a lot of people's nerves.
Yeah. And it didn't back in the day, but it does now. So I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
Can't do it. But, um, but
But
yeah,
yeah.
I've heard Tales of Arise is just phenomenal. So you'll
Mhm.
probably absolutely love that game.
Yeah.
My number 4 is an interesting one because I've tried to play it 4 times, and every time I
Yeah.
play it, so the first 3 times I played this game, I was like, no,
Mhm.
this is not for me. This is not gonna this game's not good. It's boring. It's boring. The fourth time I played, I was like, all right. They updated it. The frame rate was increased to 60 frames per second. The loading was better. The bugs were better. I was like, all right, let's go. And I played
Yeah.
a couple of hours of it. And then some other game came along and took my attention away. I was like, I really want to
Yeah.
play this game. And that game is Starfield.
Mm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I want to play it. I want to just get absorbed into that universe and just play the crap out of it.
Mhm.
But something always just takes my attention away from it. So it may be
Yeah.
one of those games that just stays in my backlog forever.
Yeah. Just
Um,
keep going off and on.
yeah,
Fight every once in a while, every few years.
I can pretty much guarantee at this point I'm not going to go back to it unless I know that nothing else is around.
Which isn't going to happen. There's always new stuff being
I
released.
know it's frustrating. Yeah, it might be something I have to let
Yeah,
go. I don't want to though because it seems so cool,
yeah,
you know. So we'll see where it goes.
yeah.
What's your 5? Give me your 5.
5. So this one's kind of an old game that I started getting back into. I don't know if you've ever played the point and clicks detective games. This is Broken Sword, but it's the
Nope,
third one.
I
There's
have not.
3. The original Broken Sword is like standard point and click. It's just detective story, and you're researching the Templars in Paris,
Oh,
I
cool.
think. So it's like a little bit of history, but it,
Got some mystery in there.
yeah, like history too, like a little bit. But it's made up. It's not real history.
Oh no, no. Hey, it
But
doesn't need to be real.
all 3 games follow the same guy, and it's about his journey as like becoming this detective. And I'm
No,
on the third one that I just haven't finished or gotten to. I played like the first 5 minutes, and it's just a very different feel to it, and I think that's why I had to take a break from
gotcha.
finishing that series. But yeah,
Yeah, no, I'm a huge point and click adventure fan. I can't tell you that I've played any recently, but I used to play. all the classics, man. I played Full Throttle, if you remember that.
Hmm.
I played Siberia, if you remember that one. I mean, Monkey Island, of course.
Monkey Island, yeah,
Um, yeah, The Dig was one of my favorites. Very few people will know that one. That's a DOS game.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I love point and click adventures. I don't think there's enough of them, honestly. I
yeah.
think I think the
I,
modern version of it is the Telltale games, like Walking Dead
yeah,
and the choose your own adventure type stuff. I think that's
there's
kind of the modern
something
equivalent.
about the classic point and click though that's
Yeah,
why I picked up Broken Sword because it's very classic. Just it's voice acted, like you're just hearing the story, click around, find the objects you need, figure out where to use them.
almost like Mist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that. That's on Steam.
Yes. I think there might be a way to get it on console.
Okay,
It might be somewhere else too, but yeah.
I shall take a look. Broken Sword added to my backlog.
Yeah.
Let's see. My number five. I want to go older, but honestly, most of my games are kind of newer. Um, I was able during the pandemic when there was like nothing coming out. I played a lot of my backlog. I was just getting through it.
Yeah.
So most of my backlog is newer stuff. There's still a lot of it though. Um, let's pick a Nintendo game because my problem with Nintendo is that they don't have as many sales as PlayStation and Steam and Xbox. So and their games are all pretty much fully priced. So it's like I can't buy 10 Nintendo games a year. I just can't. I got to pick and choose, right?
Yeah.
So I have quite a few of those. I'm gonna pick. I do want to play Super Mario Brothers Wonder at some point.
Mm,
That's the 2D
right.
uh, Mario game that got really good reviews. I was not a fan of the new Super Mario Brothers games. I felt like there was like 10 of those games. I swear.
Yeah.
And it was just like they're all the same. They all look the same. Why is there so many of them? I couldn't get into them.
Yeah.
This one seems very different, very unique, and I'm in the mood for a 2D platformer. So hopefully that goes on sale one day, or maybe I can pick it up secondhand or something like that. Because I haven't played a Nintendo game since Tears of the Kingdom, um, which was obviously amazing. But yeah, I want to play that game.
But yeah, 2D Mario always feels like a little whimsical too. Like it's just
Hmm.
fun.
Yeah, it definitely takes you back to your being a
Hmm.
kid. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
Six. What's number six?
Number 6 is a game I discovered later, but it is like an older PlayStation game as well. I can't stay away from RPGs. It's if you ever played Grandia,
Oh, okay.
uh this is Grandia 2 that I haven't played yet, but I want
Okay.
looks
That's
it's based on
classic.
the same world kind of,
Hmm.
and it's just I want to get to it. But there's something again about the gameplay changed a little bit from Grandia 1 that when I started it up, the way the character moves, it just irked me a little bit, so I put it down.
Yep.
And now it's just on my backlog. But I want to play it for the story because I like the first one a lot.
Man, you've got like 1,000 hours of JRPGs on your backlog already. Good
Dude,
lord, you're never gonna catch up.
I know, that's my problem. I like RPGs too much.
Maybe that's why I stopped being a fan of those games too, just so I didn't have to have a billion hours of gameplay
Hundreds
needed.
of hours.
Yeah, just brutal.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I hear you. I feel your pain. I feel your pain. You know what? I'm gonna switch. There's a game that I'm gonna put in here just for you, since you're mentioning JRPGs
Yeah.
that I've tried to play 1,000 times and it's too long. I can't play those kind of games anymore. I just can't do it. But I want
Yeah.
to because it's so awesome, and that's Nino Kuni,
You know.
Wrath of the White Witch. It was a PS3
Yeah.
game. It looked like a Studio Ghibli type of
It
visual
was.
style.
Yes, yes. I played that. I
Yep.
didn't finish it, but I played it.
No, I didn't finish it either. I played a couple hours and I was like, man, this is really good. And then,
No, I got pretty far. I got till near the halfway point, and then
yeah,
I had to
which
put
is
it
like,
down
you know,
because I
400
wasn't.
hours in. It's a freaking huge game, dude.
It is. It is.
Yeah. That'll be my number 6
But
is
that
Ni no Kuni.
beautiful style, like
Oh,
I, all the creatures. It's just
great voice acting, great story, great visuals. There's nothing wrong with that game. It's so good. The only thing wrong with it is I don't have 600 hours to devote to one game anymore. So yeah, I won't say it's officially on my backlog because there's no way I'm going back and playing it. That's
yeah,
never gonna happen. It has less of a chance than Starfield does.
yeah,
So, but I will put it as my number 6 because I do want to play it. I
hmm
just can't. I just can't do it.
yeah.
All right, what's
It's,
your number 7?
it's a big one. Next one is a game that's gotten a lot of attention, and
Oh,
I thought it looked really cool, and that's Stray, the cat game.
oh, heck yeah, man. Yeah.
And I bought it, but I just haven't booted it up. I don't know why.
You know what? If
I
out of all
look
the
at it
games,
every once in a while, and I'm like, I'm not in the mood.
honestly, if you're gonna play any of the games that you've mentioned so far, play Stray because it's not long.
Yeah,
You'll cruise through it. It's a cute experience.
yeah,
Playing a cat is very cool. The
hmm
controls are very cool.
yeah,
The world is very cool. I will say the ending's not particularly great. But the experience is really cool.
yeah,
I do recommend that game.
hmm yeah.
My number 7. hmm, I don't know how old this game is. I actually just recently discovered it because a demo came out on PlayStation, and I played the demo. It's called Nuclear Blaze. It is a side-scrolling firefighter game where you're a firefighter fighting this like forest fire that's broken out, and you eventually, as you're fighting the fire, you go deeper and deeper into the forest, and you encounter like some sort of strange facility, and you go for some stupid reason you go inside alone and fight fires, and things get weird, and it cut me off right when I was like, oh, this is really getting cool.
Oh,
In the demo, which is the point of a demo, so good
yeah.
demo. So I do want to play that. It's only like $13 for that game, so that'll be something I pick up at some point.
Heck yeah.
Um, but I definitely want to. I want to see what the rest of that game is. I decided not to look up anything else about the game because I was like, you know what? I played the demo.
Yeah.
I know what I need to know.
Sounds like one of those games you kind of want to go in blind to.
Yeah,
To
yeah. I
explore.
don't really want to know. You know. So
Yeah.
yeah, Nuclear Blaze. Played it
Yeah.
on PlayStation 5.
That does sound cool.
All right, number 8.
Number 8, something I've been bugged by my younger brother to play. Fear and Hunger.
Fear and Hunger.
Yeah.
Okay, what's this?
It's like horror esque. Like you go into the dungeon of Fear and Hunger, and you're trying to make your way through. It's very tactical. Like you don't really level up in it. You just like the encounters you have. You can like lose limbs and shit, and
Oh,
it's a very intense survival. Like yeah.
Steam. I assume.
Yes. It's it's indie, so I think it might just be on Steam.
I'm gonna look it
Not
up because I haven't. This is one I have not heard of. Let me look it up real quick here.
Yeah.
Fear and Hunger.
There's also a Fear and Hunger 2 that was released recently. Kind of recently.
It does not appear to be on Steam.
Oh, no.
Hmm. It used to be. Did it get did it get
I think
discon
it's still on there. I have it. Oh, yeah, it's
oh,
on my Steam.
maybe
Is it
it's not for sale anymore?
available to buy on Steam? Weird.
Let me try again. Maybe the search was just being stupid. I didn't see anything on Fear and Hunger. Yeah, no. Oh no, Fear and Hunger was excluded from my search for some reason.
Huh.
I don't know. There it is. Oh,
Weird.
okay. Oh, okay, cool. So it's very RPG like as well. It's got like an old school turn based system. That looks cool. Got very positive reviews. Came out in 2018, and it's only $8.99. Hey, that's Canadian too. So what's it? It must be like $4.99 American.
Oh
That,
yeah,
that's a
it's
super good
pretty
deal.
cheap.
Sweet.
mm,
Let me go back. Okay, we're on number 8.
number 8.
Mm, you know what? I'm gonna go with one that we've talked about before, and that's Darkest Dungeon 2. It
Oh
just
yeah,
came out yesterday. I want to play it so badly, but I don't have $60 to drop
yeah.
down on a game like that right now. But man, I want to play it.
Darkest Dungeon 2. Yeah,
Yeah, the first
yeah.
one was
That's
so
on
good.
mine too.
Yep, I have nothing but need to play that game. It's on my to buy soon. You know,
Yeah,
buy it as soon as possible type games.
yeah. You know that one's gonna be good.
Yeah, yeah, I have no doubt. I'm stoked to play that game. I want to go play it right now. To be honest with you, but I
Yeah,
just don't spend money you don't have. Come on,
not yet.
not yet. All right, number 9,
Number 9 is Hive Swap 2. If you
Hive Swap.
know, um, back in high school, I got into Homestuck, the webcomic. I don't know if you know it,
I'm
but
looking at the game though.
Hive Swap is basically branched off from that game, sort of in that world with aliens, and you play a girl who gets transported to the alien planet, and you're trying to,
Alternia.
yeah, it's very on the nose, alternate planet.
Yeah, Alternia. Very cool visuals.
Oh yeah, the style is very unique. That's what attracted me to the original web. Is the
Mm-hmm.
styling of it is so unique.
And it looks like an adventure game, from what I can tell.
Yeah, the humor in it's good too. Gets me.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Yeah,
From I love the developer's name.
yeah.
What Pumpkin
What?
Games? I like that. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're on 9.
Yep.
9. 9 for me is V Rising. This is the isometric third-person vampire game where you're. It's sort of like Diablo in its gameplay, but you also are building up your castle at the same time. Uh, First came out on PC, but recently came out on console. Again, this is another like full price game that I just can't
Yeah.
get to yet, but looks really cool. I love any game that has like a loop in it where you're like, okay, I'm gonna go to the dungeons, I'm gonna do some hacking and slashing, then I'm gonna come back and do some base building, and then I'm gonna go do some hack and slash. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's
Rotate the gameplay a bit.
perfect
Yeah.
for me. You know.
hmm
So that is my number 9. What is your number 10?
10 is Celeste that I haven't actually played.
Oh, oh,
Another big one.
oh,
Yes.
that's a big one.
I know. It's.
That's a 10 out of 10 game.
I want to get to it. And I boot
You,
it up, I play a little bit, and then I put it down for too long. And I'm.
it is very challenging. It is a game that you have to play and play it only until you beat it, because if you play it and then you step out and then come back to it 2 weeks later, you're gonna be like, "Oh man, I suck at this game." It's
Yeah.
kind of like a
I don't
Souls
know what's
game in that, like
happening. Yeah.
you need to play it until you finish it.
hmm
Um, Great story too, amazing story, very deep. Deals with like mental health, self-loathing, depression, fighting back, overcoming obstacles. Like it's very, very deep for a 2D platformer.
Yeah.
But it's the best kind of 2D platformer because it's so well designed in every aspect, from its visuals to just the fact that for those of you who don't know, it's a platformer only. There's no shooting or action or anything like that. It's basically you are moving through the environment, and
Yeah.
if you get hit once, you die. But it is not punishing in that way. If you die within like 2 seconds, you're back at the beginning of that screen that
Yeah.
you've made it to, that checkpoint. So it's a quick. It's like, okay, I failed. Okay, now I'm back. All right, how do I do this? Let me try this. Let me try this. Oh, I almost made it. Oh, okay, now I'm back. Okay, I almost got it. And you get a little bit better each time you play it. You get further each time you play it, and the
It's
story is just so good.
that's why I will get to it and finish it eventually. Because it's not punishing in its
No,
difficulty. It's very
it's
it's a very
challenging.
calm game, but it's deep too.
Well, I
And
wouldn't call it calm. When you get to the later levels,
yeah,
it gets tough, real
yeah,
tough. But by that time you get there, you're pretty good. Yeah, I'm actually replaying it. Sort of
yeah,
that's one of the ones I'm kind of like going back and forth with the other
hmm
games on. Love it,
yeah,
love that game, so good. That's a good
hmm
pick, man. You got some bangers on this list.
right.
Let's see. My number 10 will be. This one's a little bit older, and this is probably more up your alley, and maybe you've heard of it. Maybe it's called Forgotten Anne. It is a 2D story-driven mystery, kind of a clockwork. What's that style? Steampunk kind of almost aesthetic to it. Um, it seems up your alley. Is it on Steam? Let me check.
It
It
does
is.
look like my kind of game.
Yeah. Great art style. Very again, kind of a Studio Ghibli
Yeah, a
art
little bit.
style to it. Um I played the demo and I was like, "Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I want to play this." And I begged the I played the demo on PC. And then when like I'm not a PC gamer, so when I was playing it on PC, I was like, man, I would love this on console. So I reached out to the developer and I was like, man, you guys really need to bring this to Xbox and PlayStation. And they're like, we're working on it. And I bugged them. I bugged them for like 9 months, and then they were like, it's out. I'm like, sweet. And I haven't bought
Nice.
it yet, unfortunately, because it came at a bad time. But yeah,
Yeah,
great game, or it looks great. Uh, got good
does look
reviews, so yeah, can't wait to play that game. Looks really really cool.
yeah,
That hand drawn art just looks
so beautiful. I love
oh,
hand drawn art.
just love it. All right, we're halfway through. Number 11. Wait, boom, boom. Number 11. Boom, boom.
Next one is Biomutant, which is a
Okay.
game I saw PewDiePie play it, and he just played like one quick game because I think he was sponsored for it, but just it looked very cool.
I have played it. I did buy it, and I would say you can remove it from your backlog.
Really? Wasn't that good?
Yeah, it did not turn out very good. It's janky. Um, Remember how we were talking earlier about Flintlock and its floatiness? This thing's got it in spades. Um, it's just not polished. I think it was one of those games where, because I remember them when it was originally announced, it looked so good, and it was like, oh, this idea looks amazing. But then as like as time ticked on and more of it was shown, I was like, I'm a little concerned. It looks a little double A, like THQ, kind of like this is not going to be polished. And then it came out, and I didn't listen to my instincts, and it's
Yeah,
not great. It's very not polished. It's
that's disappointing.
yeah. I like if I was to rate it on our scale,
Hmm.
I'd probably give it a 5. So
Yeah,
I can't recommend it, but hey, every game's different for every player, so you might like it, but
yeah.
it didn't live up to my expectations for it, unfortunately.
It'll probably be pushed back further down my
Yeah,
my backlog list then, but I'll probably give it a chance eventually.
yeah. It's probably going on sale for super cheap because it didn't sell well. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can probably pick it up pretty easily. That's your first dud.
Yeah, right.
Up until this point, Perfect score.
Yeah.
All bangers. All right. My 11. This one I'm kind of still waiting on. I'm not convinced that it's going to be for me, but Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I've heard a lot of amazing things about it, but I've also heard a lot of things that would I know bug me about it, like frame rate issues. That was a
Yeah.
big thing about the game. Apparently, they've patched it to where the frame rate is unlocked instead of locked, and you can pick like performance options. There's no like performance mode on consoles for it. It's just they're trying to do it, and so
Yeah, that's what worries me about it.
yeah,
It,
it's
I
sketchy.
did like the first Dragon's Dogma,
I
but
played a little bit of the original, but the things that they were saying about this game about how engrossing the combat is and how unexpected everything is that happens, it's so dynamic. Like that sounds really up my alley, but there's a lot of caveats to that. So I'm like, it's low on my list. I'll put it that way, but it's there.
yeah,
It's one of those things where like if it goes on sale for like 80% off, I'll pick it up.
yeah,
Um, but I'm not gonna pay a significant price for it, unfortunately.
right. Yeah.
Unless they released a demo. Hey, remember that, people? When demos were a thing? Where you could play a demo for like everything? Or maybe one day
Right.
it'll come to Game Pass and I'll play it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Probably eventually.
hopefully. Yeah. So that's my number 11?
11.
11. That's so
Now on to 12,
12.
which is a game. I feel guilty about this one too.
Uh-oh. Brace yourselves. Brace
What
yourselves.
happened with this one, though, was I was getting into streaming.
Okay.
I couldn't stream it because the music on it is copyrighted. Very
Oh,
heavily.
and it's one of those
I'm
games that didn't
silencing
have
it, so I had to put it down, and I just haven't picked it up again yet.
it's not one of those games that has the copyright
No, I
like
didn't. It's
disable copyrighted music. Bummer.
it's Child of Light, which looks
Child
beautiful.
of
It
Oh, is
looks.
that the Ubisoft game?
I think so.
It's like a
Yeah.
2D RPG.
Yes.
It won't let you stream those.
Yeah. It won't. Not that one. Not that one.
Wow, I wonder why.
But yeah, I was trying to stream it, and it just.
It doesn't have any officially licensed music in it. I don't think. I think it's all from Ubisoft.
It cut out all my audio, and then I just put it down, and I haven't gotten back to it.
Well, that is very
I,
strange.
I just have to make the time to play it on my own.
Yeah, no, that's a banger. That's
Yeah.
another. I'd give that a 9 out of 10.
Mhm.
That's a that I can't. It hurts my soul that Ubisoft stopped making those small titles because they
Yeah.
made a bunch of those side-scrolling type experiences. They made like Child of Light, Valiant Hearts. They did like Rayman, the Return of Rayman, like Rayman Legends and stuff like that, and in that art style. And then they just stopped, and I'm like, dude, these games were amazing. They must have not sold well, which is a freaking shame.
Yeah.
Because Child of Light is phenomenal.
Mhm.
Oh, the music in that game, man.
Yeah, the music is great.
So
That's why I
good.
was so disappointed when it started cutting it. I was like,
Yeah. So good music. Even the dialogue. I remember the dialogue rhymes.
hmm
Every sentence is, or every like dialogue
yeah.
paragraph is a rhyme. It's so cool.
hmm
Yeah, definitely recommend getting back to that. That's a great game. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a deep cut. I forgot about that game. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Um, my 12 is Banishers, Ghosts of Eden. I think the full title is, but Banishers is what I've written down. It's a third-person game where you play as a sort of a ghost hunter, basically. Um, and you make decisions of whether or not to harvest the ghost souls or to like help them pass on into the afterlife.
hmm
So it's very story driven, cool combat. it definitely strikes me as like double A as well, like flintlock type game. So I'm waiting for a deep sale on this one. But it got good, got decent reviews, and it just looks super fascinating. I love games that do something different like that. So
Yeah,
it's one of those games that are high up on my list.
yeah, that looks like a good one.
All right, 13.
13. Children of Morta,
Oh yeah,
which it looks good. I love the style. The story seems great. I just I want to play it with somebody.
I'll play with you.
It's a hard game for me to play alone, I think.
I'll play with you if you get it on
Yeah.
PlayStation, because it's on PS Plus, like the game catalog.
Oh, nice.
So I've got it. I've got it from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it for I don't know, a couple hours or so, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a roguelike
Mhm.
kind of thing. So, am I thinking of? I think I'm thinking of the right game. Children of Morta. Let me look this up real quick. Let me just make sure. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of DLC for this game. Holy crap!
Yeah.
A story-driven action RPG.
That's also why it became a little overwhelming because I started seeing all the DLC.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to buy them. That's always extra content, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember building up the house. Yeah, I remember
Mhm.
all that. Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's hard though.
Yeah.
It's challenging. But yeah, no, if you ever want to give that one a shot,
Mm.
I have it. So let me know.
Yep.
I'll play that with you. But
Nice.
again, you gotta get the PlayStation version.
Yeah.
I don't think it
Right.
has crossplay, unfortunately.
No, most things don't. They don't
No,
want us to crossplay.
no, they hate that crap.
Mm.
All right, my 13, we're on, right? 13?
Yes, 13.
My 13. I'm gonna go back to Nintendo for this one.
Mm.
I really want to play the Super Mario RPG remake.
Mm.
I can't remember the full title of the game.
Yeah.
1,000 Stars or Legend of the Seven Stars. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a remake of the Super Nintendo game of the same name. That
Mm.
game being one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
Um, cannot believe it took them this long to remake this game. It's just crazy. It's so
Yeah.
good. It's one of the best RPGs of all time. It's so good.
Mm.
Um, a lot of people think it's a little easy, and it is, but it's classic RPG. It's turn-based RPG, and it's got kind of the Chrono Cross kind of combat where you hit you say I'm going to attack the Goomba, but as he's attacking it, if you hit the button at the right time, then it does double damage, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And
Hmm.
that's what I love that stuff. And man, the music in that game.
What was it? Final Fantasy 12 had that with the gunblade. You hit it at the
Oh,
right
that's
time.
8, I think.
8, maybe. Yeah, 8.
Yeah,
Maybe. That makes more sense.
12 was the weird one that had like real time combat. You were like
Yeah,
walking
that's
around.
right.
That was a weird
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
That one was a little weird.
Yeah, but Super Mario RPG again, another full price game. It should not be full priced. It's a Super Nintendo game, guys. Come on, that's ridiculous. But yeah, it's one of my favorite games. So I really want to play that one eventually.
Yeah.
All right, 14.
Yeah. 14. This one's Children of Zodiarcs, which looked interesting. It's another. I think it's indie. It's I think it's like dice combat in that one or something.
Story driven tactical RPG set in the world of
Yeah.
Loomis. It says.
Yeah. I think it's like dice
Um.
based combat. You like put together your dice set and then it
Oh.
affects how.
Oh, there's cards too. It's a deck builder.
Yeah, kind of deck builder.
That's cool. I love deck builder games. You and me had talked at great length about Monster Train.
Yeah.
How is there no
And,
sequel to that game? Good lord.
honestly, it was good.
I gotta look up the developer of that game and find out what they're doing.
Yeah, there's not a lot of tactical games like this where you have like the
No.
grid-based combat system, and I do really like grid-based combat systems like this where you can use the environment. And
Hmm.
this is one of those games that I have that I played a little bit of it and then put it down. I'm like, I'll get to it when I have time.
Yeah, looks good. Came out in 2017.
Mm.
Oh, Square published this game. Huh.
Oh, they did.
Wow. How
Yeah.
come I've never heard of that? That's weird. Yeah, looks
No,
cool. Sweet.
this one's yeah.
14. I'm gonna go with Alan Wake 2. I never finished Alan Wake 1, and it was fine. I actually played the spin-off Alan Wake American Nightmare way more than
Yep.
the full original game. That was the arcade style game, or it was like it put you in like a level and you just survive against waves of the ghosts creatures that inhabited that game. But I played the 1 hour demo for Alan Wake 2, and my mind was blown.
Yeah.
My expectations were like below the floor because I was just like, yeah. I'm not a huge Remedy fan. They made Control, they made Alan Wake, they made Quantum Break, and I
Right.
never really played any of those games to the full. You know, I always felt like they were a little overproduced and a little, I don't know, just a little weird. But man, Alan Wake 2, that hour blew my mind. The visuals, the music, just the horror fuckery of it all, for lack of a better term. It was freaking weird. And man, I want to play it. I want to play it so bad. But again, in Canada, a full price game like that is $90. So plus
Yeah.
tax. So about 103 after taxes.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's disgusting. So that's
$100
one.
game.
Yeah,
God.
if I had more money, I'd buy that right now. But I
Yeah.
just don't. So yeah,
Yeah.
really want to play that game. 15.
Down to 15. I got another older game. This
Okay.
one's an old PlayStation 1 game that I just barely remember playing as a kid. I didn't play that much even back then, but I remember it deep enough because I was invested in the main character, and it was another character that I really saw myself in and wanted to be.
Okay.
Chrono Cross.
Wow. Okay.
The amnesiac character.
hmm Sequel to
Like,
Chrono Trigger.
mm-hmm. It was
Uh,
good.
Funnily enough, this is on my backlog as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Um, Chrono Trigger is in my top 10 games of all time, maybe my top three,
Yeah.
with Final Fantasy X in there. Um, so I mean, I know it's not a direct sequel. It basically references the first game. It's not a direct sequel.
Yeah.
But I've heard nothing but great things about it. It got a remaster recently that didn't go over very well, so I was a little disappointed in that.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll remake it, or maybe we'll actually get a Chrono Trigger sequel at some point. But
A
yeah,
Chrono Trigger remake?
or
I would love a
oh
Chrono Trigger.
man, okay, dude, you know how people like freaked when Final Fantasy VII remake happened?
Mm,
That would be me.
imagine a Chrono
Chrono
Trigger
Trigger, yeah.
remake. Main character looking like a fucking cloud, just all high definition, just badass.
Frog comes in, Magus comes in, like
You could
I
have fun with Frog, man.
oh
Frog would be a cool character to see in the high def.
Robo would be cool too. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
seeing Lavos, in full HD 3D, like oh my god, dude. I would poop my
so
pants if
good.
they announced that game. Straight up.
Honestly,
So good. But yeah, Chrono Cross. Yeah, I do want to play it at some point.
yeah.
It's kind of in the same vein of um what was the Nino Kuni,
Hmm.
where I'm like, I really want to play this game, but I don't have 150
Yeah,
hours to devote to it. It's apparently a very long game.
yeah.
Yeah, good pick.
Mhm. Yep.
My number 15. Hmm. This one's recent. It's very recent actually. the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC.
Oh, hmm
Elden Ring is my favorite game of this generation so far, and
yeah,
I'm not a Souls fan, so that's saying something. And I really want to play the DLC, but I've heard some pretty scary things about it. It's the original base game's hard enough, but the DLC is apparently that much tougher. So
yeah,
whether or not I will actually ever get to it, I don't know, but I want
yeah.
to. I have all of the Let's Plays from Jacksepticeye playing it
Oh, yeah,
on
yeah.
my watch later list, and every time I look at them, I'm going, "Don't watch it. You're gonna
Don't watch
experience it
it.
yourself, man. Don't watch it."
No.
Whether I do or not, we'll see. All right, 16.
Yeah. 16. I don't know if I'll actually ever get to this. This is probably pretty low, but it is a game I've heard recommended, and I kind of want to play it. It's Dragon Age Inquisition.
100%.
But it's such a long game, and I have enough long games.
Yeah, it is a long game. Not as long as your JRPGs, but it is long.
And I prioritize JRPGs, as you can tell.
Yeah, I would definitely put the Mass Effect trilogy above Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah.
But Dragon Age Inquisition is a great game. It won
Mm,
Game of the Year that year, although that was a bad year for games. But it is a
mm,
great game. Yeah, I don't have much to say about it. It is great,
yeah.
but there are better games on your backlog to play. I agree.
Yeah. Mhm.
16 for me. I talked about a little bit about this game last week. Backpack Hero. Not sure if you've heard of this
Oh,
one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
have heard of that one.
yeah.
Mm,
Well, I won't talk about it since I talked about it a lot last week. But yeah, I want to
mm.
play that one. I have
Yeah,
it.
that one
I need to sit down and play it.
that one does look really fun. It's very interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
puzzly and RPG,
yeah,
elements to it. Yeah, seems very cool.
yeah. That one is on mine as well. I do like it.
There you go.
Mm,
17.
17. I have Final Fantasy Type O just because of its Final Fantasy. I like Final Fantasy, but I haven't heard that much good about it, honestly. So it's on there because it's Final Fantasy.
Fair enough. Yeah, I played. I
Yeah.
played. I played the demo for the HD remake, and
Mm,
it's fine.
yeah.
It's one of those side games, so it's not going to blow your socks off. But
If it's on sale, I'll pick it up.
yeah,
And
yeah, for
but
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm
17 for me. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So this is Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2.
Yep. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. That one is actually still on my backlog.
yeah, I played the
I need.
remake. I thought it had its flaws, but that it was really well done overall. Um, I've heard Rebirth is way too long, so that's partly what's keeping me from it,
It's
as well as the
it's
price.
Final Fantasy VII. We knew it
But
was gonna be long as shit.
yeah, and it's only part
Final
2.
Fantasy VII was huge,
Yes, it
and
was.
there's still more. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
my problem with it is the first game, like part 1, the remake, had
Mhm.
a lot of padding in it that didn't need to be there. And I'm
Mhm.
worried that the reason for the length of Rebirth is that they continued that trend, but
Mhm.
worse. So, but I got great reviews, so I mean, I'm going to play it.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. I'm not going to not play part 2 and part 3 of the remake.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's my
It's just you got to buckle in for it too, because
yeah. It's one of
it's
the
Final Fantasy.
yeah.
It's gonna be long as hell,
It's a
and
game
they're
where
they're
you're right.
adding so much new content in it too, in order
Oh,
to
really?
like I j- that's what I think at least is
Yeah.
like that because they're adding more context to things. It's not really they're adding things to it. It's
Well,
they're
no,
adding
yeah, yeah. I know what you mean.
context
I
to
see
the
what you mean.
side quests and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to be daunting, but it's going to be one of those ones where I have to just put my blinders on and just focus on it and not get distracted by any other game, because as soon as I do, I'll never play it again.
Yeah.
Just like Starfield. I don't want that to happen to Final Fantasy VII. So, all right,
Yeah.
18, getting there.
18 is I have Griftlands. Griftland.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
Which
played that. That's
is
the card builder.
card builder. It's kind of story driven,
Mhm.
choice based a little bit, right? Like,
Yeah, I
yeah.
played about 3 or 4 hours of that game. I didn't play it enough to give it a fair review. It's very different,
Yeah.
you know.
Very unique.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's very good. I just,
Mhm.
for whatever reason at the time, I just wasn't in the mindset for it.
Yeah.
Um, it was just so like I'm used to card games and deck builders being very specific, like
Mhm.
numbers and damage and
Yeah.
armor and magic and all that kind of stuff. This game is not that whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's got
No.
its own system. Um,
It's a very unique system. Yeah.
very unique, and it's all linked to story at the same time. So it's very
It's
unique.
how I feel about the Children of Zodiacs too, because it's like cards, but it's based that there's dice to it too, and it's
Mhm.
like,
And a grid.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
very unique.
it's its own system.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, 18 for me. You know what? I'm just gonna put Dungeons of Hinterberg on there because I want to play it. That's
Yeah.
I played all those games today, and that's the one
Mhm.
I'm thinking of the most. So that's I wouldn't say I mean it's on my backlog, but it's probably gonna be the next game I play. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's
19.
taken up top place one.
Yeah, place number right, that's the place number one for sure.
Yeah.
All
So
right, 19.
19 is I have a kind of indie game, Fuga Melodies of Steel, which
I've heard of
is,
this game.
yeah, it's like the art style is like cutesy animorphs, um, about kids in a war setting.
Yeah, there's a tank involved, right?
There's a tank that you're all living in trying to survive, and it's one of those stories where you get attached to the characters. There's a lot of death and destruction and survival.
Yep. I played the
Yep.
demo for this one. Um, the Japanese voice acting problem that I have is in this game,
Yeah.
where there's a lot of it, a lot of
Yeah.
talking,
Oh yeah.
and a lot of saying
There
things that
you
you
go.
don't need to say.
Yeah.
So it quickly got removed from my console. I'll put it to you that way. But
Fair. Fair.
for if that's what you're into, or you like that style of game, then you'll probably like that game for sure. My 19. So we only got 2 left. I'm gonna say Botany Manor. Um, I'm about halfway through this game, and I haven't played it in about a month. But I want to get back to it and finish it. It is a first-person puzzler where you play this woman who inherited a like a mansion that is all about was all about like plants and gardens and that kind of stuff. It's got like an almost The Witness type of visual style to it, very cartoon or cell shaded, very bright and colorful. But it's all about figuring out these puzzles that all revolve around plants and how to grow them, basically. It's very interesting. Um, been playing it sort of co-op, not actual co-op, but like been playing it with someone, a good friend of mine, actually Elena, who did our logo
Oh yeah.
right there. Um, I streamed it, and she would help me figure out the puzzles because I'm not. I'm good at the puzzles that are like physics based kind of puzzles. You know what I mean? Like Portal and that kind of stuff. But when it comes to like thinking and solving,
Yeah.
where they're like, here's a bunch of information that I found around this world. Now you got to put it together and figure out what the answer to the equation is. That's the stuff that I have a hard time with. and she's really
I
good at
don't
that.
really have a rhyme or reason way I'm good at puzzles. I'm either really good at it or I'm really bad at it.
I
Like there
will,
was certain points when I was playing Portal where I was like, "Oh, this is easy. I can think with
yeah.
portals.
Oh, I
This is
love
how my
Portal.
brain works." And then there'd be other ones where I'm like, "Okay, now I'm stuck."
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
like, it just turns off and on for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Bunny Manor's great though. It's very cute, very calm, and very interesting. So I'm enjoying it. I just want to finish it.
Yeah.
All right, last one. 20.
Last one. It's another big one.
Oh
People are
snap!
gonna hate that it's on my backlog.
Oh, it can't
I
be
have
worse.
not
It can't be
played.
worse than Celeste and Mass Effect and Child of Light. And could it? Could
um,
it? Could it be worse?
I still have not played Ori and the Blind Forest.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
hurts.
that's a 10 out of 10 game for sure.
It hurts.
And now you haven't, and now there's a sequel out and you haven't played that either.
Exactly. It's just getting
Oh.
worse. I'm becoming more intimidated by it. The more I look at it, I feel bad, and I just look at it and say, "I'm sorry."
Well, I can tell you that is an amazing game. Amazing art style, great gameplay. You know, if you're a Metroidvania type fan, you have to play that game. It's so good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about that game.
Hmm.
I don't think they're making a third game though, so you do have eternity to catch up. I think they're working on something new. I don't remember what they're working on now.
But then I'm going to be looking at the new thing
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
And then I'll feel bad for Ori that I'm looking at the new thing and not the old thing.
yeah. Ori's great. Ori is fantastic. Ori could be a show or a movie. It's so good. It's really
Yeah,
good. Yeah. All right, my last one, my number 20.
fine. I'll get controversial. Come on.
Oh, I don't think I have any controversial ones. I'd have to do
No?
some. I'd have to do some serious research. Um, because my backlog mostly is stuff that I haven't been able to afford yet for the most part. Um, you know, when I have access to Game Pass and PlayStation Plus and
Yeah.
these collections, it's like I've played most big titles.
Hmm.
Let me do some research for next episode, and I'll let you know if there's some like big games that I've never played. And I'll bring those up. Um, but for my last backlog game, I will say, do I go with a Nintendo title again?
I mean, the Nintendo titles are probably the most controversial of yours.
Probably.
People really like
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Okay, I'll go with a Nintendo title. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This was Kirby's 3D, almost Super Mario 64 type game that came
Yeah.
out a few years ago, where he famously ate a car and turned into a car and was driving around. That one got decent reviews. I played the demo and was like, "Yeah, this is fun. I like Kirby. Kirby's cool." So I do want to play that one eventually as well.
Yeah. Eat cars.
Eat cars, eat whatever he's eating. It
Mm,
kind of reminded me. I don't know if you ever played Super Mario Odyssey,
yeah.
but like how you know how he tosses his hat onto things and turns into them. It kind of like it reminded me of that. You know,
Yeah.
you
It might
become a
be kind of
car, you
like,
become a
yeah.
so how
That's pretty
not
cool.
fun.
Right?
Yeah, how could that not be fun?
Hmm.
Cool. So that is 20 of our backlog games. We both have many more than 20,
Many.
but we wanted to limit it so we didn't go to 16 hours
Yeah.
of a podcast. We're almost at 2.
Hmm.
So that is our topic of the week, done and dusted. Before
Yep.
we go, we used to do the worst game title of the week, but we have done away with that and are now instead going to play a game of video game 20 questions. So Andrew and I played the first game last week, and we did get it, although it was slightly controversial because the answers that we got from the game were incorrect. So we ended up between two games, and some of the information that we were provided was wrong. So we technically got it if we had been provided correct information. So for those of you who don't know, 20 questions is you have 19 yes or no questions to figure out what game it is, and your 20th question needs to be the game. You only get one chance to ask what the game is, and that's basically all there is to it. There's no other rules to it. You can't ask anything about the title of the game. That's cheating.
Right. Yeah.
Does this game start with an A? That'd be cheating.
Yeah.
All right. So the way Andrew and I did it was we kind of discussed which questions we think would make sense to try and narrow it down. So we'll do that, and I think the best way to start was the same way we started last week, which is to figure out maybe when it came out. So at least we have an idea of when the game was released. So I think a good place to start would be asking it if it came out after the year 2000.
Yeah.
I think it's a good place to start. So that's what we'll start. So did this game release on or after January 1st, 2000? The answer is no. So it is a pre-2000s game.
Okay.
So we're getting into 70s, 80s, 90s. I think we should get specific here. Let's ask it if it came out in the 90s.
Okay.
Because if we get any older than that, I think we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
Did this game release in the 1990s? Yes, it did.
90s.
We're okay. So it could be an NES game, could be a Super Nintendo game, could be Genesis, Master System, could be Dreamcast. Dreamcast came out in 1999. I think PlayStation may have came out. No, PlayStation came out in 2000. I think. Pretty sure. Did it? No. Did it? Now my gaming history is mixed up. Maybe we should ask if it's a 16-bit game, because that's Super Nintendo and Genesis.
16-bit would be helpful.
Is this a 16-bit game? Oh, it's not. So that means it's either 8-bit, so NES, or it's Dreamcast, or maybe N64. Is this game 3D? I think that's a good place to go.
Yeah, 3D.
It is. Okay.
It is 3D. Okay.
It is 3D. So it is
possibly 64?
64 Dreamcast, PlayStation 1.
Is it an RPG?
Is this an RPG? It is. Wow, that was a shot in the dark. Nice. Okay, so we have an RPG. Okay, there was not very many RPGs on the N64, so it can't be an N64 game. I mean, it's unlikely. So this got to be a. Should we ask? Was this? Did this release on PlayStation 1? Just to make sure it's a PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Did this originally release on PlayStation 1? It did. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Should we ask if it's part of a franchise? Because it could be like Final Fantasy, or it could be. Was Dragon Quest on PlayStation 1?
Was Dragon Quest? I don't know if it was.
You can't look anything up.
I can't.
No.
I can't.
That's cheating. This is our brain power.
Dragon Quest PlayStation.
I know it was on Super Nintendo.
I don't think it was actually on PlayStation.
Okay, let's think about what other RPG games were on PlayStation. We got Final Fantasy VII, we got Final Fantasy VIII, we got Final Fantasy IX. We technically have Chrono Trigger and what was the other one? It came in like a it was like Final Fantasy Chronicles or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was 2 games. It was Chrono Trigger and it was something else.
I don't remember what the other one was.
I know it was an off-brand game.
Yeah.
Okay. What other RPGs were from PlayStation 1? Oh, the ones you were talking about, Grandia?
Grandia, yeah.
Grandia?
Grandia would be one. Yeah,
Okay.
that was a PlayStation one. Yeah.
What was something Saga?
Uh,
Saga
Man,
Frontier? Saga.
was the try? What was it? Something of mana? What?
Oh, I don't know what console Trials of Mana came out on. Was it Trials of Mana? Crap. Okay, these are all franchises though. So let's ask: is this part
Yeah,
of an
it's
ongoing
a
franchise?
franchise.
Yeah, it is. Okay,
Oh,
so
great.
it's not a one-off. So it's definitely part of a franchise. I guess we could ask: is this from the Final Fantasy series, or is this from the Grandia series?
Hmm.
Oh, it could also be Suikoden.
What is it?
Suikoden.
Suikoden?
Yeah.
What's that one?
Uh, it was another Square RPG. Oh, it could be Chrono Cross.
It could be Chrono Cross. That'd be
Can you
funny.
imagine if it's Chrono Cross? That would be amazing.
That'd be so funny.
Um, crap. Okay, so we need to narrow down. We need to narrow down the franchise. We could ask: is there time traveling involved in the game? That would, but that would be. Mm, yeah, that might be too
Yeah,
specific. Oh, who made Grandia? Do you know who made Grandia?
I don't remember.
Crap. Because I was gonna say we could ask if Square made it.
Hmm.
Was it Square Enix or Square Soft back then too? That's another thing I don't remember.
I think it was Square Enix.
Was it Square Enix when Final Fantasy VII was around? It's been,
No, I think Seven was Square Soft.
yeah. Okay.
But
I think.
10, I feel like I remember was when it switched to Enix.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
think.
Well, then let's ask if Square made this game because that'll rule out Final Fantasy. Whoops! I hit my microphone. Is everyone okay out there? All right. Did Square develop or no? Was Square the developer of the game? Square is the developer. Okay.
Is it a Final Fantasy game?
Is it part of the Final Fantasy series? Yes, it's a Final Fantasy game. Okay.
Okay.
So it could be 7, it could be 8, it could be 9. It could be Tactics.
It could be Tactics.
Was that the only 4 Final Fantasy games on PlayStation 1? Is there anything else that we're missing? Just to make sure before we start honing in.
No, I think that was it on
Okay.
one.
So how do we differentiate these games? Um
We could ask about the protagonist.
I don't know much about Squall or what was the guy's name from 9?
Zayden.
Oh yeah. I don't.
What?
What was
We
the
could,
planet called in Final Fantasy 7?
um, it's on the tip of my tongue. I
I know,
know
me
it.
too.
I know it. I'm so bad with words sometimes.
No, when the pressure's on, it happens. Crap. Okay. Um, all 3 games you had 3 party members, right?
No, 9 you could have 4.
Okay. So we could ask: is uh is the maximum number in your party 3? That'll limit it down to 7 and 8.
I'm pretty
Although
sure 9 had 4.
maybe we should not do that then if we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Now I'm questioning myself. I don't know.
we could ask, just to eliminate tactics, we could say, is this a grid-based tactical game?
No, it is 4 because I remember the tutorial battle. It's Zidane, his best friend, the one dude with the big nose, and then the other kid. There's 4.
One dude with a big nose. I like
Yes.
that. Okay, so do
So we
we...
could ask that to narrow down whether it's 9 or not.
Okay. Is the maximum size of the combat party 3? No.
It might be 9.
So it's either 9 or tactics.
Yeah.
We should ask if it's grid-based.
Yeah.
Is this a grid-based tactical game? Whoops. That is not Ice Bay Tactical. Tactical. It's not.
It's got to be 9 then.
So it's got to be 9.
I think,
How
right?
can we be sure? There's got to be another way we could be absolutely sure. We're only at question 11. So
Does the main character have a tail?
That's a good... Does the main character have a tail? Oh, he said no.
No?
Are you sure he's the main character? Or he would be considered the main character?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, the AI could be wrong. Is there any other way that we can... Do you know what the world was called in 9? You know what? We could ask the easiest question. Is Vivi in this game?
Oh, yeah. Let's just ask that.
No. I don't... I would be shocked if he's wrong on both those questions. Did Final Fantasy VIII maybe have 4? I could have sworn it was 3.
No, I'm pretty sure it's 3. It doesn't know how many party members.
Maybe, but so it doesn't know how many party members. It doesn't know that the character has a tail, and it doesn't know that there's a character named Vivi in the game. This would be an ultimate fail for AI if it didn't know all 3 of those things. I don't know. It's possible.
Ask if the main character has a gun blade. I don't know if it'll know what a gun blade
Yeah.
is. No, I don't know.
I asked. He said no. But I don't know.
The max number in your party is not
3.
3. It said, right?
Yeah. Let me check the way I asked it. Is the maximum size of the combat party 3? It said no.
I am confused. Is it tactics?
No, I asked if it's a grid-based tactical game. He said no.
Because either it doesn't know who Vivi is, doesn't know
Yeah.
tail. If it's 9, I'm gonna be pissed off.
Well, I would give it to us if because we've narrowed it down to the Final Fantasy franchise.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other ways to narrow it down. It's kind of cheating, though. I don't know if we can do this. No, I don't know if I would know anyway. I was gonna say, is this the 9th entry in the series?
Oh, yeah.
We could do that though, and see if it says yes. If it says yes, then we know we're right. If it says no, that doesn't necessarily mean we're right, though.
Yeah.
But we have 6 questions and a guess still. No, 5 questions and a guess. I mean, Vivi seems like the most popular character in that game, so I can't imagine that it would not know that. But I mean, maybe
Yeah, I don't
the
know.
Gunblade one seems like maybe that one's probably maybe not correct.
Yeah,
Should we ask if there's a character named Squall?
yeah, or can no, I don't know how to word that, or an AI would understand it. But there's definitely only three people who are fighting at once in your party in that game.
In 8?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure as well. Same thing with
only
7.
three.
I can't think of any other characters or any other way to narrow it down to 9.
Yeah,
I'm gonna ask about the
like
Squall.
unless that question was wrong.
Which one? The Vivi?
The Are there
Oh,
only
the
three?
Gunblade.
Are there only three in
Oh
your
yeah,
party?
yeah.
Because that knocks out all the other Final Fantasies because they started doing only three.
Okay, I'm gonna ask if there's a character named Squall in the game. He says no. Could it be 7? Are we thinking it only had 3? If it okay, the only one, the only question that has ruled out 7 is the maximum size of the party.
Mm-hmm.
But we now have multiple reasons why it's not 7 or 8. So maybe we should say, is Cloud a character in this game?
Yeah, let's go with that. Is Cloud a character in this game?
Yep.
But seven only has three. This AI is rigged.
All right. Is this game Final Fantasy 7? It is. Yeah. So that was the question that fucked us up. Was
But
the
they only have three.
well, hold on. Was there any point in the game that you could have 4?
I really don't think so.
I'm gonna Google it. Was there any point in Final Fantasy 7 where you had more than 3 party members?
I think you technically can have multiple, but I think it might be counting like the people you have them in your party, but you only fight with the three though. Is how it works.
Yeah. Seems to indicate that it's 3. So I think that was the one that threw us.
Yeah.
I'm glad we asked that question then,
I,
because
now we know not to rely on that.
yeah, too specific of a question maybe for a mechanical type question. But it was right with every other question.
It was okay.
So it knows the characters.
It knows who Vivi is.
It even knew the Gunblade
It
thing.
knew the tail thing.
So there you go. All right. So that means we are 2 for 2 on 20 questions.
Yeah.
I like it. Cool. All
It's
right.
pretty fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I love playing 20 questions. It's a good time passer. Get your brain thinking as well.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right. Well, unless you have anything else to add, I'll do our outro.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think our topic for this week kind of made my backlog worse.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Don't even get me started on my movie backlog. That one's 10 times worse than my
Oh
video
yeah.
game backlog.
I don't think I have a lot of movies. I don't get into movies as much.
No, not a movie person. I'm not really either. It's just I don't watch them very often, but I see trailers all the time, and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. Oh, that looks cool. Oh, that looks cool. And then I have people telling me, oh, that was good, or that was good. I did actually just finish watching Tenant
Mm,
on the weekend. Um, the Christopher Nolan time bending movie.
right.
Oh, weird movie. It was pretty good though. I don't think it was as complex as people were saying.
I
Um,
am gonna go see Deadpool and Wolverine.
that looks sick.
Yeah,
Did you see the last trailer that just came out?
yeah.
Yeah, where they revealed X-23. I'm like, ah, yeah, bring in the Logan stuff, man.
Fun. Uh,
That movie could change Marvel back, into the
oh yeah.
powerhouse that it was.
Deadpool is bringing it back. All it took was
All
Deadpool.
it took was Deadpool.
That's all we needed for the
Imagine that. All right. All right,
movie.
this has been episode 5 of Press Pause, a gaming podcast. My name is TJ Leo, and I can be reached at TJ_the_Leo on Twitter. Bailstorm can be reached at Bailstorm on Twitter/X as well. You can email in your questions to be featured on the show to co.op.podcasts@gmail.com. And don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. This has been episode 5 of Press Pause, the gaming podcast. We're out.